gifted subs, my friend. Giafario. The Italians are on a come up big time. Do you understand? Wait. Oh, I thought you were. I thought he replied to this or something. Why mafia isn't a aesthetic, a thread? I cook at the pizza. Go yourself for real. I can't with these people anymore. I hate you all from the bottom of my heart. Ignorant pieces of shit. I cook at the meatball. Hey, passa the linguini. It's a mia Mario. Mamma mia. Yeah. Please check in on Mario, please. Yeah.
Him out, no matter where he was at the time. And so this is a strong person of interest. The police commissioner and
he's strong, all right. He's right. He's strong.
We'll go over where we are right now in the investigation. He matches the description of the identification we've been looking for. He's also in possession of several items that we believe will connect him to this incident. How did we do it? Good old-fashioned police work. The chief of detectives and the police commissioner made the decision to release as much of a photo that we had at the time. We sent it across the country, and someone, a McDonald's employee, did something we ask every American to do. If you see something, say something, but most importantly, do something. And they did. And because of that, we believe we have a strong person of interest to deal with this case. I want to now turn it over to the police commissioner of the city of New York, Commissioner Tisch.
I think it's really up that they revealed this guy. I'm gonna be honest. I don't give a how, but listen. BDS is he went to Starbucks first, got nabbed there, then he got caught at a McDonald's in Allentown. Okay, BDS would have saved him. BDS would have saved him, and he didn't do it. Okay, he didn't do it. That's what you get. I mean, listen, free him, but also, you know, he's a dumb who used the same fake ID. Okay, Central Committee. Like, just because this man is, not ideologically aligned with someone like myself or someone like yourself, it doesn't mean you have to be so mean to him, okay? And I know it's partially because you hate Italians, okay? And I understand that. I understand that it's afraidophobia that you are exhibiting. But let's just work through it. Let's just work through it. Let's try to get a better understanding of what motivated this man to behave in the ways that he did, okay? Oh, not Allentown, Altoona. Do not get my beloved Toontown names mistaken. First of all, Pennsylvania is such a fake-ass state that there's not one but two different tune-related places. Like, what kind of Looney Tunes nonsense is happening over there? Y'all don't have better names? My bad.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Earlier this morning in Altoona, Pennsylvania, members of the Altoona Police Department arrested Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old male, on firearms charges. At this time, he is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan. The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting.
This is what Altoona is famous for?
Pizza, and then there is pizza.
Altoona Sicilian is what Altoona Hotel Pizza was like back.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the radicalizing principle, dude. This is like, if I'm an Italian man and I find out that this is what they've done to my most significant cultural artifact, I'm gonna lose it too. Oh my God! What the is this, bro? What the hell are they doing in Altoona? Hey, yo, look at this shit. What? This reminds me of George W. Bush's favorite meal, which was, I think, a pizza cheeseburger, like a cheeseburger pizza. That's what he used to eat every night. George W. Bush ate like a child. And I feel like this is the version of that. He was there for his next hit. Yeah, he went to Altoona to kill this guy next. It's like your crimes against Italians will be addressed today.
For customers at 29th Street Pizza Subs and more.
And it has yellow cheese on it we put Genoa salami underneath with green peppers. And it's done very well for us.
And customers from Brooklyn, New York agree.
It's the best pizza from here.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. What the are we doing? Yeah. Elon Musk has been taking his son out as a little human shield nonstop since the CEO assassination. Is pretty funny. Like he has literally been in public only with his son since that CEO assassination. He's like, hey guys, I just want to remind you that I am a human being. I am a father. I'm a human being. Please just remember. Don't look at his Goodreads list. No, I will be looking at his Goodreads list. But look at this Altoona McDonald's that he got popped at.
Suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport. Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the...
Wait, this motherfucker was literally carrying that shit on? He didn't dump it? Bro, you can learn anything online, okay? You can literally learn anything online. I saw a video of like the Syrian rebels that were watching a YouTube tutorial on how to fly a helicopter sitting inside of the cockpit of the helicopter, okay? And now I'm beginning to realize that this guy was not a professional at all and just simply watched a YouTube video on how to carry out a assassination because he should have watched more YouTube videos on how to, I don't know, hide the evidence. Why the? Yeah, I hate to do Monday morning quarterbacking here, but like the way he carried it out was pretty smooth. And then he turns around and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Altoona. No place where he ditched it. Like, by the time you get to Altoona, you could drop the gun anywhere at that point. You know what I mean? Drop it in a river, dog. What are you talking about? Oh, shit. The mic is breaking again. I'm getting... Federal authorities are cooking my microphone. By the time you get to Altoona, you have already left. You have already left the state, okay? Dump it in a goddamn river, man. Okay? Make it the law enforcement, make it law enforcement the problem of law enforcement later down the line when someone is doing magnet fishing. You know what I mean? How the do you keep that with you? Was he going to go and kill other CEOs or something? What the was he doing? Get the eyebrows threaded, Maybe shave it down a little bit. Do something. How can a leftist argue for pollution? Okay, man. Sometimes it's, sometimes you got to ditch the assassination weapon, okay? Dude thought he would get laid if he showed proof. This doesn't need to get more pussy, okay? What are you, crazy? Have you seen the way he looks? Like, I do not think. Turns out a mutual friend of mine. Oh, this is from the Prospect. Luke Coldstein says, turns out a mutual friend of mine went to high school with Mangione and was on the wrestling team with him. Says he was a class valedictorian. He had back surgery a few months ago and went missing. No one had heard from him. Oh, my God. Well, now we know what the motive is, it seems. He's an incel, though? No, I've seen him with, like, a lot of ladies, dude. I don't think he was an incel. I don't know. I mean, he might have been. We'll see. I'll dive into his background a little bit more because, like, looking at the podcast consumption that he has. Oh, that's his sister. Okay. Well, looking at the podcast consumption, I could see him being like, you know, it seems like he was like incel adjacent on a lot of the podcasts that he was consuming, but like, I don't know if he's. I don't think this guy's an incel. I think maybe like a men's right activist lightly, but I don't think he's an incel at all. But once again, do not try to understand the mind of someone who is a political operative in the United States of America. You wait, what? Who said his nipples are sharp? You need to be banned. Anyway, avid reader of 295 books listed on Goodreads. Academically, he holds a master's and bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Pennsylvania. Additionally, he gained recognition as a valedictorian at Gilman School in Baltimore, showcasing his academic excellence. His work includes contributions to machine learning and robotics, as evidenced by projects on GitHub. It makes sense. He was like a stem cell. He was like a jacked stem cell. So yeah, it makes sense why he would find himself captivated by, when you have no humanities, when you have no formal humanities education, you find yourself in the throes of radicalization by the likes of Andrew Huberman and shit. And all of a sudden, you know, become like kind of stem cell adjacent. Yeah, here is a very famous tweet that we have to point to. He literally, quote, retweeted Elon Musk's favorite neo-Nazi here. Immigration won't solve anything. It's maybe a short-term solution at best. Japan will be fine as long as it stays Japanese, this guy says. I am yes, you are no. He is a famous neo-Nazi online. Elon Musk's favorite neo-Nazi, as a matter of fact. He, quote, retweets him and says, modern Japanese urban environment is an evolutionary mismatch for the human animal. The solution to failing birth rates isn't immigration, it's cultural. Encourage natural human interaction, sex, physical fitness, and spirituality. Ban Tenga fleshlights and Japan real ho custom porn star pocket pussies being sold in Don Quixote grocery stores. Yeah, that's gonna fix the problem, man. You're definitely right. Yeah, it's because the Japanese are too vociferously they're ravaging these sex toys that you can purchase at Don Quixote. And you know he's a weeb too, because he knows what Don Quixote is. If you know what Don Quixote is, you're a goddamn weeb. You're a otaku. Okay, replace conveyor belt sushi restaurants vending machine ordering with actual human interaction with a waiter. I'm willing to bet that there is like classic dumbass otaku that doesn't even understand Japanese culture, especially because human interaction is so there's so much need for human interaction that like a big part of Japanese nightlife industry revolves around people that basically give that human interaction to you while you're engaging in social drinking, even if you are alone. Okay, so it's not the fact that there's too many conveyor belt sushi and restaurant vending machines. Dumbass. Replace 24/7 esports cafes with young males. Earn false fitness signals via Tekken fighting and Overwatch shooting games with athletics in school. Heavily stigmatized maid cafes where lonely salarymen pay young girls to dress and anime characters to perform anime dances for them. Revitalize traditional Japanese culture, Shintoism, Okinawan karate, onsen, etc. Bro, you got so heated that he doesn't understand Japan. That's one of your weebest moments. Yeah, he like I love talking about the Japanese birth rates, okay, without addressing Japanese work culture, capitalism, and also the tendency of developed nations across the board to run into this trap regardless, especially if they don't engage in any sort of migration. Like, this is what happens when you are a stem cell with no understanding, no political acumen whatsoever. But I digress. This is important to understand and acknowledge that the issue of healthcare is a unifying principle, is a unifying problem. This is why it is not surprising that this person is not like a card-carrying commie leftist. Okay? 2 reasons for why it's not shocking to me that he is not a card-carrying leftist or whatever, but instead is this like indecipherable kind of right-wing guy. Okay, one, he's a stem cell. Okay, no understanding of humanities, probably assumes that humanities are bad. Okay. Two, the right dominates the space for political violence. They just dominate it. They own it. They dominate it. The right is so used to doing political violence that when you look at two of the Trump attempted assassins, Ryan Ruth, my NATO hero, okay, the #1 NATO defender, the one NATO voter, Ryan Ruth, and the other guy whose name I forgot, the one that shot at Trump and popped him in the ear. One was a registered Republican. The other one had voted for Donald Trump. Ryan Ruth had literally voted for Donald Trump. So, like, obviously, Thomas Matthew Crooks, yeah, that's his name. So, I feel as though the right is so used to the political violence and owning that space that they just kind of do violence to themselves. Can tell you that not a single person who went to Gilman is a leftist? I mean, it doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be a leftist at all. It doesn't matter. This reaffirms my position. Okay? This is my point. My point is, this is not a left-right issue, okay? This is definitely a class issue, and it certainly impacts even rich people from rich families. I've talked about this before. When I was broke and I worked at the Young Turks, I had health care. I had health care that was given to me by the company that I was paying for, right? And the patchwork solution to losing my job and to moving on to, full-time streaming as a career, the patchwork solution in that process was for me to be able to retain my health care, but pay for the entire premiums under what is known as COBRA, okay? That is the Democratic Party's patchwork solution to the healthcare problem, is that, at a time of financial uncertainty, we are giving you the opportunity to pay for the entirety of the premium that your work was paying for. So all of a sudden, I was paying like $600 a month when I didn't make that much money. It's insane. But another thing that I also found out in this process, once my COBRA expired, and I had to get my own health care personally, self-employed health care, was the reality that while my financial situation had dramatically improved, okay, at that point when I was looking for health care, even if you have money in this country, healthcare is still, you can't even buy like the appropriate full tilt coverage as a person, as an individual, because the way that this process works is like you have to start a corporation and you have to literally get corporate healthcare. The premium healthcare is not given to you as a singular individual. It's crazy. So even if you have the money to pay for healthcare, they still do not give you the healthcare, at least in the state of California. So obviously, regardless of the fact that this kid probably comes from a relatively well-off family, he went to a private school in Baltimore, he still got over. He still got over by American healthcare. Okay? That's it. Yeah, his brother is seemingly a Republican politician in Maryland as well. And it's not, look, there's a very sad story here. Turns out a mutual of mine that went to high school with Mangione and was on the wrestling team with him says he was class valedictorian. Hey, are you okay? Nobody's heard from you in months, and apparently your family's looking for you. Thinking of you in prayers every day in your name. Know you are missed and loved. Hey, man, I need you to call me. I don't know if you are okay or just in a super isolated place and have no service, but I haven't heard from you in months. You made commitments to me on my wedding. Made commitments to me for my wedding, and if you can't honor them, I need to know so I can plan accordingly. Like I think he had to get back surgery and just like fell off the map. His Twitter account I think this might have been his cousin or something, but his Twitter account literally has, his Twitter header literally has spinal surgery x-rays. Luigi Mangione's Twitter header has this x-ray as Goodreads has these books. He must have gone through some kind of personal hell with insurance. Crooked, outwitting the back pain industry and getting on the road to recovery. Back Mechanic by Dr. Stuart McGill. He gave it a 2 stars. Crooked, outwitting the back pain industry and getting on the road to recovery. He didn't like that book. I guess he didn't like the book because it said it didn't tell him at any point that the way to outwit the healthcare industry is by taking matters into your own hands. That's why he gave it 2 stars. Where he was like, yeah, no, I am not. He was not a fan of the book. So, all jokes aside, this is a real moment of radicalization for a lot of Americans. Yeah. Mohammed says, Jim Bro, who's mad at insurance for how they're covering his injuries. I get it. Yeah, this is if you guys recall, when I first went back on my fitness journey, okay, once the pandemic lockdown restrictions were lifted and I went back to working out, I had a shit ton of injuries because I had not moved my body enough. I was, not eating enough protein. Multitude of different factors at play here. But I recall going to the doctor for a slip disc. And I was very frustrated, not with the healthcare coverage in that situation, because like I am fortunate enough to be able to afford such things without even thinking about it at this point. But if you remember, I went to the doctor, and one of the things that was incredibly frustrating, and now I don't have this back pain anymore, thank God, but one of the things that was incredibly frustrating was like the tendency of a lot of medical staff to, instead of subscribing physical therapy, they were just trying to medicate me. And like I am obviously pro modern medicine, as you guys know. This is something that I am not like an RFK Jr. type of person. But one thing, did I say subscribing? Sorry, prescribing. But you should subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime, or you can get gifted a sub as well. Okay? But one thing that I personally experienced that I found to be very frustrating is that like prescribing pain relief medication when you have a injury is not addressing the like major cause of that dysfunction. Okay. And this is something that I talked about at that point as well. This isn't to say that like all pain relief is bad. And I'm not saying that at all. I think there's a time and place for that for sure. There's chronic pain. I totally understand that. But I think the tendency even, and this is not even like insurance related, even though insurance factors into this equation a little bit, but the tendency to overprescribe pain relief medication rather than try to address the problem and take this more complicated approach that requires you to identify where the muscular imbalance is and identify why you have injured yourself and try to fix it. Like that is a long and convoluted process. So I think that's part of the reason why people are way more people just immediately go, yeah, just take this pain medication and just like rest it and it's fine. Also, thank you, Zylax, for the 50 community gift of subs. And this is frustrating. Every aspect of medicine in this country still, at a certain point, revolves around the profit motive. Okay? It is something that does not make sense. Even if you've taken an Econ 101 course, you understand that medicine, pharmaceuticals, and any sort of like medicine in general, any sort of medical help in general, has inelastic demand. If you don't get it, you die. So you have to get it, right? So the very fact that we still use this as an opportunity to generate profits is insane to me. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people have distaste and distrust for healthcare in this country. And that's why you got the likes of RFK Jr. and so many like anti-vaccine people in America that have this kind of attitude, because they see the issue with for-profit healthcare. They recognize the issue with for-profit pharmaceuticals, and it breaks their brains. And instead of recognizing that the solution to this problem is by taking the profit motive out of this, equation, a lot of people just end up, making up their own minds about this shit and despising healthcare and despising medicine even. It's a much larger problem. But I think the important part of this, the important hinge point here to address is that profit is slammed into this sector, in every orifice of the sector that should not have anything to do with profit at all. And every single person has a story like the one I just told you. Every single person, because at a certain point you needed healthcare, okay? Unless you're like one of the most fortunate people on the planet, you still needed healthcare at a certain point. And when you got it, you were shocked at the bill. When you got it, you were shocked at the process where this healthcare that you paid for or that your parents paid for f***ed you over and they denied your claims. We live in a country where there is a concept of medical bankruptcy. Europeans cannot comprehend that. They're like, what do you mean medical bankruptcy? That is an insane process. And yet it is a very real process. It's a pretty shitty position overall. What is this? What is my attorney doing, dog? What is my attorney posting? Let's not do infighting, okay? At a moment of division, I don't like that. I think in these unifying times, I see no reason to pit fellow gym bros against one another. Shaking my head. You're mad he's hotter than you? I'm not mad about that at all. But he is hotter than me. That's true. My health insurance story, I specifically went into the Anthem website to find an in-network provider for an annual checkup. I go to the place. They inform me that at some point between making the appointment and the actual appointment date, their in-network negotiations fell through and they're no longer in-network. Yet I was never notified and had to pay out of pocket for that visit. Yeah. Ew, no, he's not. No, he's very hot. I think you guys are crazy. Anyway, so I wish we could get him on this. I wish we could get him on the broadcast. No, we can't. I got electrocuted at work. Company denied my claim. Still injured. Couldn't work. I lose my insurance because I'm not working. So my job starts offering me insurance. Lol, I got my health insurance taken because I got injured. Cobra was like $660 a month and to be paid with no income amount. Exactly. This is unsustainable. And anyone that tries to tell you that this is like a perfectly valid, perfectly sustainable system is insane. Also, what else? You want to know what else is insane? This motherfucker was deficit hawking at the age of 12. Luigi Mangione likes obstacle to deficit cutting, a nation on entitlements. This is exactly the type of dude I need to reach out to pull them from the throes of weirdo politics, okay? This is why I do what I do. Do you understand? This man is posting Wall Street Journal articles about deficit cutting and the obstacles to deficit cutting and entitlements. But that's from 2010 when he was like, what, 12? I suspect that he's changed his mindset since then. He was 12 years old. What a goddamn nerd. Holy shit. This guy was definitely watching the Feminist Owns compilations. Yeah. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue with this broad sweeping coverage here.
Weapon used in the murder. They also recovered clothing, including a mask consistent with those worn by our wanted individual. Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident. Additionally, officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset. NYPD detectives are en route to Pennsylvania as we seek to interview the subject further. This apprehension is thanks to the tireless work of the greatest detectives in the world, and of course, the strong relationships we have with our local law enforcement partners. On every level, local, state, and federal, we all serve the same public safety mission. And this case, which captured the attention of an entire nation, is another example of how connected we are and how important it is to work together, share information, and pursue every lead.
I think the best part is that the guy was far from a recluse, yet not a single soul who knew him came forward to the authorities. Apparently, they probably recognized him immediately and were just like, I ain't giving up shit. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Straight up. Hey, do your job, okay? If you want to find him that bad, maybe figure it out, okay? But I'm not helping you.
For just over 5 days, our NYPD investigators combed through thousands of...
Yeah, the attention that the nation gave to this story is not the type of attention that she thinks is good. I will say, I don't think it was a positive. They had a positive association with him, not the victim.
Of hours of video, followed up on hundreds of tips, and processed every bit of forensic evidence, DNA, fingerprints, IP addresses, and so much more to tighten the net. We deployed drones, canine units, and scuba divers. We leveraged the domain awareness system, Argus cameras.
I love this like back patting that like all of these institutions always do after like some random McDonald's employees. Like, I recognize those eyebrows. He's being kind of sus. Like, it literally is always like, we did so much. Yeah, it amounted to nothing. Like, you did so much with your domain awareness system, and the only thing, the thing that got him caught was the fact that he didn't follow BDS. He should not have gone to the McDonald's in what is it, Toontown, Looney Tunes Town, whatever, Pennsylvania. Okay, someone was like, I recognize those eyebrows. This guy's being kind of sus. I don't know what's happening there. Yeah, they were searching in Atlanta. Italiophobia got him arrested. The guy saw his eyebrows and were like, those are too powerful.
cameras and conducted
I gotta
aviation
pee.
canvasses. And our detectives also went door to door, interviewing potential witnesses and doing the good old-fashioned police work that our investigators are famous for. This combination of old school detective work and new age technology is what led to this result today. And we must also acknowledge the instrumental role the media and the public played in this case. The images that we shared with the public were spread far and wide, and the tips we received led to the recovery of crucial evidence. We should never underestimate the power of the public to be our eyes and our ears in these investigations. This is the third time in 3 weeks that a member of the public has seen something and said something and done something that led to a high-profile arrest. The triple stabbing homicide in Manhattan, the gunpoint robberies in Queens during which an NYPD officer was shot, and now this. Now, the case will continue through the criminal justice process. And while we are proud of today's accomplishment, we must, of course, remember that a family is in mourning. I want to again extend my sympathies to Brian's family, his co-workers, and all who knew him. Finally, I want to thank the women and men of the NYPD, especially our Detective Bureau personnel, with a strong assist from our intelligence analysts. We also thank the SAC of the FBI's Criminal Investigative Division, Leslie Rodriguez-Bekshies. And I want to commend the staff of the Manhattan DA's office, and especially DA Alvin Bragg. He has been working with us 24/7 on this case, and I am incredibly grateful for his partnership. I'll now pass it along to our great Chief of Detectives, Joe Kenny, who will provide additional information. Chief.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. As the Commissioner stated earlier, a male was taken into
I think it's pretty funny what they're like, the NYPD was working tirelessly around the clock. Meanwhile, this is what the NYPD actually was doing, okay? Look, hold on. Dude. They're like, this is taking time, sweet time away from my valuable Candy Crush time. It's really up. Making me go on a little walk, dude. You know? Look at this pic of them diving in a Central Park pond. Random guy in a rural Pennsylvania sees suspect in a public restaurant, calls the cops. NYPD diver comes out of Central Park pond 275 miles away and solemnly removes his snorkel. We did it, boys. Yeah, tax dollars hard at work, baby. It's just like, it's so ridiculous. But of course, you know, don't let these guys, don't let the truth stop you from, you know, creating this narrative that we did a fantastic job and we deserve $700 billion, please.
custody today in Altoona, Pennsylvania this morning. He has been identified as Luigi Nicholas Mangione. He's a male, 26 years old. He was born and raised in Maryland. We know he has ties to San Francisco, California, and his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He has no prior arrest history in New York. Members of the NYPD Detective Bureau are currently traveling to Pennsylvania with members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to interview this subject. This case was brought to a successful conclusion based on the coordinated effort between numerous NYPD units, including the Intelligence and Counterterrorism.
Yeah. Felix says, wow, I can't believe the shooter was an attractive and courageous buffoon with beliefs that were all over the place. Not, what is this, your first day in America? Yeah, I mean, it is the most expected thing. Listen, once I saw in my lifetime an actual trans person do a school shooting, I was like, oh, this is like an introduction to being an American, okay? Like, that's it. Dude, America is the land of mass shootings and gun violence, okay? This is the number one thing that we do, all right? And people have no consistent, clearly defined political. What he posted off screen first? Wait, what? No, there's no way this is actual. If you see this, I'm already under arrest. Luigi Mangione? Okay, dude. No. No, this is a meme, isn't it? This is a meme, I suspect. Yeah. I don't think this is a real I don't think this is a real account, dude. Let's look at the activity of it first. Wait, what the join January 20th, 2024. One video, 198 subscribers. Yeah, this is like nothing on it. No, this is yeah, he's posted up with a with Starbucks on the image too. I mean, not Starbucks, McDonald's on the image. No shot. Sorry to all the leftists writing reader shooter fanfics where he's super woke. No, it doesn't matter. This is something that I was trying to explain. The reception of the broad reception of this otherwise violent act, okay, did not have to be directed by someone who is a card-carrying communist or some shit like that. Okay? It doesn't matter. What matters is that this issue is uniparty. People from all different backgrounds. People from, different age groups. The Debras and the Barbaras on Facebook were celebrating this action. Ben Shapiro's viewers in the comment section were celebrating this action. Because the reality of the matter is, it doesn't matter. Unless you are literally one of the richest out there, you are never going to be sheltered from the lecherous nature of healthcare profiteers. It's impossible. It's virtually impossible not to be impacted in a negative fashion by the for-profit healthcare insurance industry in this country. Okay? That's why it doesn't matter what his political background is. Okay?
Bureau, our federal partners at the FBI, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and of course, members of the Altoona Police Department in Pennsylvania. On Thursday, one day after this crime was committed, the NYPD released a photo of the shooter in this case. This picture was obtained by the NYPD during one of their extensive video canvasses. We took that photograph and we asked for the public's help in identifying this subject, and the public responded. Hundreds of tips began to pour into our hotline. Each tip was investigated thoroughly, and we began to release additional photographs as they came into our possession.
Yeah, here, look.
The NYPD provided these photos to numerous...
Yeah, the NYPD, we did such a good job. Yeah, by the way, the CEO shooter cousin is Nino Mangione, super conservative Republican member of the Maryland House of Delegates. Here's a photo from Nino's campaign website. Luigi appears to be in the back left with a checkered shirt. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Boop. Computer, enhance. Ridiculous accent. He's faking it. I agree. Italians finally getting someone better to celebrate than Christopher Columbus. Yeah, apparently he had a 2-page manifesto as well, which we'll cover in a second. What we know about the suspect arrested in the killing of the CEO of United Healthcare, a 26-year-old Ivy League graduate from Maryland, was arrested at McDonald's in the killing of Brian Thompson. The suspect is Luigi Mangione. Thompson's murder of a Midtown Manhattan street in broad daylight shocked many Americans, but also sparked a torrent of outrage aimed at the U.S. profit-driven healthcare industry. This this is something that I think people need to examine and need to understand. This doesn't happen in America, where someone very clearly in broad daylight does a crime, and that Americans that are normally so geared towards punishing every criminal, no matter what their motivation is, no matter what that criminal did, turn around and go, hold on, let's take a step back and let's really think about who the villain and who the victim is, okay? That's it. That is truly unique. Americans love law and order. They are positively Hitlerian when it comes to that sort of shit. And this was the one instance where I was like, damn, everyone, regardless of their political allegiances, regardless of their age, regardless of their culture, have been so very clearly over by healthcare, by for-profit healthcare companies, that they just literally champion this guy as a hero. Okay?
Numerous media outlets, local, national, and international outlets released the photo via television, print, social media, and online content. Luckily, a citizen in Pennsylvania recognized our subject and called local law enforcement. Members of the Altoona Police Department responded to the call, and based on their investigation, they notified the NYPD. This investigation is still active and ongoing. Thank you very much.
First, and then we'll... Mark?
I had a couple questions about the document that he was found in possession with. Can you go a little bit more in depth about those motivations that you mentioned? Was that CEO specifically named in that document? Was there anything more about him wanting to go after others? And also in that document, was there any indication that explains us how the level of detail that he went into killing him? Like, is there anything else?
Like I said, that document is currently in the possession of the Altoona Police Department as part of their investigation. But just from briefly speaking with them, we don't think that there's any specific threats to other people mentioned in that document. But it does seem that he has some ill will toward corporate America.
Over here, sir.
MJ?
Chief, was the suspect wearing a mask at the time he was spotted in the McDonald's? And also, criminal cases often have a linchpin. Can you point to a single linchpin that helped crack this case?
There's numerous linchpins in this case, in the fact that we've recovered an enormous amount of forensic evidence, an enormous amount of video, and once again, with your help and the public's help. So I really couldn't put it on one thing, but if I had to, it would be the release of that photograph from the media.
You said he had a passport on him. Do you believe he was trying to flee the country? And also, are you still looking for any evidence in Central Park in regards to the bike?
We had divers in the water yesterday that came up negative results. The passport, we don't believe that he was planning on doing any traveling at this time. We don't think at this point in our investigation, we don't think he was trying to flee the country.
The person at the McDonald's, were they buying food? What were they doing at that exact moment?
He was an employee at the McDonald's.
Right. But what was the suspect doing?
He was sitting there eating.
Will the suspect be brought back to New York and charged here, and when?
We're going to have to work that out with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He's going to be facing gun charges there, and at some point we'll work out through extradition to bring him back to New York to face charges here, working with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
Anita from the New York Post. I was just hoping to get more details on the capture itself. Did he put up a fight? Did he say anything to cops? And we've also reported that he published online anti-health care industry rantings. Can you share with us some of the services that he posted on?
We're still working through his social media. We're going to do a complete scrub of that. Preliminarily, like I said, he seems that he has some ill will toward corporate America, but that will all come out as part of our investigation. We're not done here. We're still going to be putting this together. We're still going to be working very hard to bring this to a successful conclusion.
And the capture itself, did he put up a fight? Did he say anything to police?
I don't have that information.
Oh, sorry. Can you elaborate on how he got there, the path he took from Port Authority and on the George Washington Bridge to Altoona, PA? Same thing.
This just happened this morning. We'll be working, backtracking his steps from New York to Altoona, Pennsylvania.
I was going to ask if we knew anything, if he took a bus to Philadelphia first and then somehow got to Altoona. But
We're still working on that. We're still working through that.
Is
any indication that
The
anybody
McDonald's
else was
employee
helping
that
him
snitched.
from the inside, you know, as far as tracking the CEO's movements?
Once again,
Classic. I knew it. Maybe that was the McDonald's that Trump went to a PA McDonald's too, bro. I knew it. That guy. You know what? I'm gonna QRT that. That's a banger tweet right there. Thanks for the hat. Thanks for the hat tip. Okay, hold on. Is that the right term? Hat tip? Is a hat trick? No, hat tip, right? I don't know. I've identified the alley-oop. Hat trick means you scored? Yeah, I mean, the assist. Why didn't bro dye his hair or shave his head? Dude, I don't know, man. Why was he running around with the gun? I know what hat trick is. You claim to be a socialist and yet you extract surplus labor. Funny jokes from chat. How do you sleep at night? I know. That's going to be the next big thing. That's going to be my next big cancellation. Hasanabi steals from his hard-working, his working class fans. He steals his jokes. He steals his memes. It's unacceptable. Anyway. All right, let's finish this off.
We're still working this investigation very hard. It's not at its conclusion yet. That could come out during our investigation, but as of right now, we have no indication that that took place.
Chief, did he have any weapons or anything like that with him when he was arrested?
He was in possession of a ghost gun that had the capability of firing a 9mm round and a suppressor.
Oh, it was a ghost gun. Oh, he made it. Oh, he's such a nerd, dude. Jesus Christ, this guy is such a stem cell. It's crazy.
Get into a little bit about the technical aspects of the investigation. I know you deployed an unprecedented amount of technology. You also
hat tip is correct, by the way. It is homage. Like you say hat tip to be like, I got it, like a layup, an alley oop. So I wasn't wrong for using that term.
activated the Sentry program through Intel. Can you talk about how that is going to play into actually building the case as far as cell phone and all of the other technical aspects of what you've done?
In this case, it really came down to technology was the use of drones in Central Park, and really comes down to the video canvas that we did. We used every source of video that we could collect, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours from hundreds of sources, and that helped bring this to where we are right now.
The gun is it believed to be the gun you used in the shooting? And there was some talk that it was a veterinarian type gun. Is that accurate?
No, as of right now, the information we're getting from Altoona is that the gun appears to be a ghost gun. May have been made on a 3D printer. The capability of firing a 9mm round, obviously that will come out during our ballistics testing.
Oliver?
Yeah, Oliver Barnes from the Financial Times. Do you have any indication like how long this handwritten, is it a handwritten manifesto that you found on the suspect? And then also...
So Republican shooters are 1 for 3 this year, shaking my head. Yes. They are 1 for 3. Friend activity, Luigi Mangione, B2B featuring Tinashe, Charlie XCX. Brat, and it's completely different. Oh man, he was all over the Brat Summer vibes, it seems. He was blasting Brat Summer. It's kind of funny because like this is, as someone also pointed out in the chat, like this is not the normal profile of this like, you know, weirdo shut-in that wants to make a name for themselves by like doing an either high profile assassination or just like the regular thing that Americans normally do, which is like shoot up a school, right? Like this is very clearly a motivated individual. Like there is a harm that was done to him, it seems, that Americans immediately recognized as well. And he took direct action. And so it is like it's a he doesn't fit like the profile of the normal shut-in guy experiencing like, you know, a mental health care episode or some shit like that, which is why there are going to be in the upcoming days so many people that come forward to be like, I know him, I grew up with him, I went on a date with him, he's a really chill guy, you know what I mean? Like regardless of his like indecipherable politics, I think many of you, especially in this community, don't understand that like the average American has, what do I always say? The median voter has political opinions that are inherently contradictory to one another, okay? That's why so many people, even on like the QAnon side, will be like, I hate for-profit insurance, and that's why I'm voting for the Republican Party to deregulate healthcare. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. But that's American politics, you know? That's how it is. Mangione YouTube channel video posted an hour ago. Is his real account? I don't know if it is. His Twitter had people looking for him, indicating he might have gone off the deep end mentally. Yeah. I hate the concept of ghost guns, but it makes this story much cooler. The whole thing is like a big cyberpunk vibes. No, it actually turns this into a Shinzo Abe doohickey situation, but except because in the United States of America, you can just like make your own gun. You know, he ended up having a ghost gun rather than a Shinzo Abe doohickey. You know what I mean? In America, you don't have to make a doohickey. You could just make a gun, like a real straight up gun.
Whether or not he put it online at all?
Don't know if it's online. As of right now, it's a handwritten 3-page document.
Chief, does he have ties to that area, and was he someone who you knew by name before his arrest?
We believe he may have attended college in Pennsylvania, but like I said earlier, he has ties to Maryland and California and Hawaii.
And you knew him by name before today. Was his name on your radar?
Excuse me?
Was his name on your radar? Was he someone who you had been looking into before his arrest?
No, we did not have his name prior to today.
Brent, okay. Does he have any prior arrests? I know there were none for New York City, but is there any prior arrests anywhere else in the country?
We have not come across any arrests in the country.
Chief, hi, how are you? On two things. On the ghost gun, is it something you're going to be looking into to see if he made it himself? And can he make that himself? Or would he have to buy the gun the way it was?
No, once again, that'll be part of our investigation as we follow up.
I mean, obviously he's going to face murder charges, but is there any chance that he could face any other charges because he was targeting the CEO and because of his writings and other things that we're now finding on him? Federal charges or
that determination will be made by Alvin Bragg.
I mean, listen, all I'm saying is my man had no prior charges, okay? No prior charges, no capacity to reoffend. It seems like this is a one and done, a real crime of passion, okay? What do you mean? Like, anti-CEO being considered a part of the hate crime statute is something that you would expect from America, honestly. Like, we should put CEOs in a protected class of their own. People of means, people of wealth, POWs, you know? This is anti-CEO action, and CEOs should be classified as a protected category, protected class. Rich people across the board should be classified as a protected category. I feel like we will inevitably get there if things get even more dramatic and things escalate even harder. I fear that we will inevitably get there. But before we get there, we'll probably make cops into a protected class of their own. There has been some Republican initiatives in the past to do that. So, you know, and it has been successful in certain places. The real POCs are no longer people of color, but it's people of class. and not the working class. People of capital, POC, people of capital.
Yes, what connections does he have in Pennsylvania that you know of? And are they in Altoona specifically?
We believe he attended college in Pennsylvania.
Does he know anybody in Pennsylvania?
Wouldn't be able to tell you that.
All right, we're gonna
Shut
take
the
one
fuck
more
up. Are you trying to get me
question.
banned from Twitch? Yes.
What, you talk about the manifesto having said things against corporations, but specifically United Healthcare, and do you believe that Mangione acted alone?
We believe at this point, our investigation is leaning toward he was acting alone. So, like I stated earlier, we're still working through the investigation. We're not stopping today. And as far as the manifesto, like I said, I don't have the complete details of that. It's in the possession of the Altoona Police Department.
We're gonna shift to
Good job, Chief. Commissioner, Chief Marjorie.
Yeah, get back up there.
"26-year-old Luigi Mangione. A nationwide manhunt has been underway since Thompson was shot and killed outside a New York City hotel on Wednesday. Now police are saying they're questioning Mangione in Altoona, Pennsylvania, saying, among other things, he was carrying
New York City, the Altoona of America.
fake IDs, a written document, and a gun similar to the one used in the assassination-style killing. I want to bring in ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky covering the story for us from the...
Oh, shit. They found his valedictorian speech, bro.
Well set. Congratulations. Thank you.
Watch that manifesto end up being some Pulitzer Prize level critique of the American healthcare system. I doubt it. I don't think this guy is... I mean, he is definitely a big reader, but given his STEM background, I highly doubt it. And given his political associations, I highly doubt that he is a great writer.
Headmaster Smythe, Mr. Hubeck, members of the Board of Trustees, family and students, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here to celebrate Gilman's 116th Founders Day. I'm honored to be asked how they would describe the class of 2016. Many of the students characterized our class as inventive, in both imagination and initiative. At the same time, several teachers reminded me of our class's commitment to Gilman and its traditions. I came to realize that both views are correct. The class of 2016 is truly defined by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition.
Hasanabi has, there's someone who, oh my God, the CEO shooter is getting extradited from Altoona. This is State College, PA, with New York State cops and PA State Police. Okay, guys, don't get into trouble. Like, you know what I mean? Calm down. Scaring me a little bit. You know, go home. All right?
Throughout its time here at Gilman, the class of 2016 has been coming up with new ideas.
And he's being framed. I was chilling with him on Wednesday. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think this man is innocent. Okay, it seems like he's innocent. I think he's the fall guy. They found a handsome man. They found a handsome man with bushy eyebrows, and they were like, "This is the guy who did it."
Challenging the world around it. Our selling of Chick-fil-A during lunch, arguably the staple of our class.
Wait, what? Can't be class of 26 is too young? Wait, what? No, he had a master's. Oh, you found the video.
Provides a great example. In our sophomore year, when brainstorming ways to fundraise, we didn't just settle for the usual methods of selling spirit shirts and Christmas trees. In addition to this, we did what seemed impossible given the...
Yeah, he's 2016. He's 26 years old now. This is him delivering his valedictorian speech in 2016, which tracks with his age.
Scheduled the school day and began shuttling dozens of Chick-fil-A sandwiches to Gilman.
This is his high school graduation, chat.
Soon, we were selling over 100 Chick-fil-A sandwiches each day, in what became likely one of the most successful class fundraisers in Gilman's history. But our ability to come up with new ideas didn't start then. I've noticed it as long as I've been here, even in my very first year as a 6th grader. If any of you have ever been on Gilman's campus before school starts, you would have noticed that every morning, rain or shine, the turf is filled with middle school students playing soccer.
Oh my God, it's so boring. Okay, all right, I'm not gonna watch this. I'm not gonna watch this whole speech. All right, let's get back to some more interesting stuff. Okay, no, he is not a incel. This doesn't mean that he's an incel chatter. Luigi Mangione, hot damn, are you single? You make us engineers have hope, says Pen Crushes. May 1st, 2019. He says, despite all my best efforts, yup, still single. Okay, and I don't think that is I don't think that that's indicative that he was an incel. Luigi fixed 300 UI bugs for Civilization 6, by the way. He was a UI programming intern at Firaxis Games. Civ 6 team fixed over 300 UI bugs, 25% of UI bug count using LUA language, Jira software, and Perforce version control system. Work with a 10-person Scrum team in agile environment. This is from his LinkedIn. This man just keeps getting better and better. He should be freed, I think. A real hero for all the Sid Meier Civilization heads out there. Okay, remember who the true heroes of society are. Okay, remember that. What was the Malcolm X quote? Newspapers will have you thinking that your friends are your enemies. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. You know? Just something to remember. Okay? We need a GoFundMe for his defense. Oh, dude, he will. He will pop off. If Biden really wanted to get spicy, he would pardon this guy. Unfortunately, he is not. I don't think that the jurisdiction here is federal. I think that the jurisdiction here is going to be a New York State court. So there is no. There's nothing that Joe Biden can do. If he was boycotting McDonald's, he wouldn't have gotten caught. Remember this? Hey, okay, Sean. The real person who can save him is Kathy Hochul. And Kathy Hochul already, Lolo is representing him. This is not a drill. My trial director from Suffolk County. Let's do it, Luigi. 25 plus year experience between both of us, Luigi. Want to defend this guy with me? Wait, for real? If Lolo is able to represent him, this would be the most amazing. This would be incredible. He could do it. He has the experience. He has it. He needs Jayoma. Jayoma does not represent people in New York. I will go in person. What a timeline. I am so on board with Lull overruled. I'm so on board with my lawyer representing this man. This would be fantastic. Look at his lawyer, dog. This man is going to jail. Why have we had not one but two weird centrist assassins this year? Because that's just America. Okay? The very fact that his politics are all over the place is the most American thing. Okay? Anyway, CNN reports that a 2-page document from Luigi Mangione was found, including the lines, which includes the lines, these parasites had it coming. I do apologize for any strife and trauma, but it had to be done. 56,000 likes from Pop Base. Okay? Now, all I'm going to say is this manifesto, if it comes out in its entirety, it will rip through, okay? Also, it seems like he's apologetic, which is very important, especially at a time when no one really sees the need to apologize anymore. You know? I mean, that shows growth. That shows courage. That shows awareness. Release him. Your streams have prepared Lolo for this exact situation. He would literally have to defend a murder. I mean, Lolo could defend a murder, and I think he would do a great job at it. Manifesto releases December 11th. No, I don't believe that. That YouTube account I don't trust, chatters. I don't trust that YouTube account at all.
John, you have some new details about specific lines that you can quote from this 2-page handwritten document that was found on Luigi Mangione's person. What was he writing about?
Well, he was railing against the healthcare industry, which of course fits into the scenario here. He talks about how these parasites had it coming. He starts off basically saying, I don't want to cause any trauma, but it had to be done. So a second page really kind of goes into problems with the health industry. He raises the question, you know, why do we have the most expensive health care in the world, but we're 42, rated 42 in life expectancy around the world? I can't vet his facts or findings there, but it was talking about the healthcare industry and the need for violence. I mean, especially when you talk about, you know, the opening, which is that it had to be done. These parasites, you know, had it coming. That does kind of fit in what they're talking about. What do we know about this individual? Mr. Mangione is an engineer. He grew up in Towson, Maryland. He's 26 years old. He graduated UPenn in 2020 and then went on to a master's program where he got that master's degree in engineering. And he has addresses, as Shimon said, in Towson, where he grew up, in Philadelphia, where he went to school, in Honolulu, which we're still looking into. But he is strongly believed to be the suspect in this case.
It's Sandra's brain rot. This type of CEO is evil, but only this type, no others. Yeah, no, he like enjoys Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, who are objectively just as evil as like the average healthcare CEO is. Okay, and I like judging this profile of the shooter with the limited information that we have. It's obvious to me that like the pivotal moment in his life was his back surgery and all of the you know, awful things that came after that. It seems like he fell off the map, fell off the face of the earth for like 6 months, festering in his anger and resentment, and then did this deed, took matters into his own hands, right? But the reality of the matter is, it does not matter what his ideological background is in this situation. It doesn't matter at all, because Americans of all different political allegiances understood instantly what was going on. They didn't need to know anything. They were like, oh, healthcare CEO killed? I know what that's about. And not only did they say, I know what that's about, before even learning a single thing, nobody even thought maybe it's his wife that like, you know, called out this hit or anything like that. Everyone immediately was like, no, it's got to be healthcare related. And not only is it healthcare related, that they thought this is good, actually. That is the level of resentment that people have. And you have to understand that this is a pivotal moment for a lot of people. The propaganda of the deed, if you will. Because you don't have to be like, it's worse if this is like a card carrying communist or some shit. You know what I mean? Because then you can just be like, oh, this is a violent ideology. Socialism is a violent ideology. Look at this. Like, this is this is a moment where a person with indecipherable politics that's like kind of right-wing associated, loves the podcast bro circuit, went in and shot a healthcare CEO because of the frustration and the anger that he experienced. And almost every American that encountered the story understood what the was going on. Okay? I said, it does not matter that the UHC CEO shooter has indecipherable politics. Americans of all different backgrounds immediately recognize the similar pain they've experienced and identified as motivations. This is still a story about profiteering in the healthcare system. Because that's what it is. So in the upcoming days when they say like, oh, he went crazy, like this is a crazy guy, it's like, yeah, someone who rips through the social fabric in this way and engages in an act of direct violence in this way, of course, does not have like full-blown mental clarity, but it still doesn't change the dynamic at all. And it certainly doesn't change the reception of the act, because people with the mental clarity that weren't involved in this recognize the wrong and the harm that they have also experienced in their own personal lives. So I think that's something that that is, in my opinion, the most productive way of looking at this situation. Okay? The most productive way of analyzing the situation, in my opinion, is trying to look at the systemic harm that all Americans face and why they analyzed this person's actions in the way that they did, and why they were so receptive and so broadly supportive. Guys, please stop sending me the fake YouTube page. I don't think he timed a video saying stay tuned. I don't think that YouTube page is real. It's going to come out to be like some cryptocurrency rug pull, and I don't know. It's not confirmed, okay?
Incredibly interesting. And it also speaks to the fact that he just had, Josh Campbell, you're with us now, so much on his person, according to police, from a suppressor to, they're saying it's the fake ID they believe that he used at the hostel, the New Jersey fake ID, when he was in New York, and then this manifesto talking about why he did this. I mean, that tells you a lot about his maybe expectation that ultimately this was all going to catch up with him, even as he tried to get away.
Yeah, you're spot on. And, you know, sometimes these major incidents that start with a bang end with a whimper. We didn't see a dramatic, police takedown. What we saw is someone eating at a McDonald's who then had the police called on him and apparently taken into custody without incident. And, it's so interesting. John and I have been covering this. There was this consensus in looking at that initial surveillance video from outside that hotel that police weren't dealing with Carlos the Jackal here. I mean, you look at everything from his stance in holding that gun to the type of gun itself, to the mistakes that he had made, apparently leaving behind a water bottle and a burner phone. And so this was a sophisticated job in the sense that it appeared to be planned and then executed, and then he was able to successfully flee and, escape arrest.
I'm not kidding when I say this. I think like you could just learn anything off of YouTube videos at this point, dude. Like, I feel like this dude utilized YouTube videos to figure out how he could do this hit. Like, he went on Reddit everyday carry to figure out what like the best possible backpack is to carry out an assassination. You know what I mean? I think what's truly shocking about this process is like how calm he was. Throughout the entire process. Like, I think that is interesting because that's something you can't really learn. You know what I mean? Like, he did it like he's done it a million times, you know? He did it like rechambering the gun over and over again and like calmly walking past the body to get on a e-bike. Like, he was on, I don't know if he's on like beta blockers or something, but he just seemingly had his mental fortitude in the moment. He locked in. Yes, he locked in, chat. So let's take a look at Luigi Mangione, like the quote. America is the wealthiest nation on earth, but its people are mainly poor, and poor Americans are urged to hate themselves. To quote the American humorist Ken Hubbard, it ain't no disgrace to be poor, but it might as well be. It is in fact a crime for an American to be poor, even though America is a nation of poor. Every other nation has folk traditions of men who were poor but extremely wise and virtuous, and therefore more estimable than anyone with power and gold. No such tales are told by the American poor. He liked this Vonnegut quote. They mock themselves and glorify their betters. The meanest eating or drinking establishment owned by a man who is himself poor is very likely to have a sign on his wall asking this cruel question. If you're so smart, why ain't you rich? There will also be an American flag no larger than a child's hand, glued to a lollipop stick and flying from the cash register. Americans, like human beings everywhere, believe many things that are obviously untrue. Their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for any American to make money. They will not acknowledge how, in fact, hard money is to come by. And therefore, those who have no money blame and blame and blame themselves. This inward blame has been a treasure for the rich and powerful, who have had to do less for their poor publicly and privately than any other ruling class since, say, Napoleonic times. Many novelties have come from America. The most startling of these, a thing without precedent, is a mass of undignified poor. They do not love one another because they do not love themselves. So he, on the one hand, he liked this quote, but on the other hand, he was like, I want to read Atlas Shrugged. Okay. So who knows? But like I said, you do not need to understand what this you do not need to try and decipher this person's politics, especially because the people that have shown him support come from every different political background. Okay? That's it. When I saw the Debras and the Barbaras on Facebook hitting that laughing smile emoji reaction on the United Healthcare post talking about Brian Thompson's untimely demise, I was like, this is a pivotal moment. This is a moment where, like, no, Americans are openly very viscerally angry at healthcare in particular. They might not even necessarily recognize that the for-profit aspect of healthcare is the problem. Many Americans do not. Many Americans do not have class consciousness. Many Americans do not recognize the powers that control their lives and dominate their lives. Many of them might even appreciate it. Many of them might like it. Many of them are terrified of any sort of alternatives, an alternative vision for society. Having said that, however, they still know who fucked them over at the end of the day. They know that, at least in terms of healthcare, they have a direct involvement with this. Okay? They have a direct involvement with the pain. Very visceral. It's very real. It's something that they've seen. It's something that has harmed their loved ones. Maybe they're elderly. Doors open. Maybe it's harmed their children. Maybe it's harmed themselves. And that's it. That's where you see where this anger and resentment is coming from. For someone like myself, I think the goal that I have in this moment is to try to reinstill class consciousness in many Americans and try to explain to them that there is a solution out of this. And it's not to engage in vigilante justice against like random CEOs, but instead to have bold, radical, sweeping legislative changes. Okay? The problem, however, is that there is no mechanism there is no mechanism that will be interested in doing such a thing. Okay? The Democratic Party, unfortunately, is woefully incompetent and not tasked for even recognizing that these problems exist. The way you talk about American healthcare makes it seem like a collective trauma, at least to an outsider. I mean, it is, technically. Yeah. Holy shit, I just realized he got surgery right after turning 26. No, I wonder if his coverage lapsed. Like, so he didn't even have his parents' insurance potentially, because 26 is a pivotal age. Pre-Obamacare, that didn't even exist. But post-Obamacare, at least you could have like your parents' health care. Being in this like legal limbo. You know? Wait, what is this? Beloved murderer canceled after old tweets resurface. He's a young man in an online space dominated by right-wing views. As a result, it is expected that he would have gone down a libertarian right-wing path. However, despite probably doing everything he was told was necessary to make money, he continues to be poor and hurt by the rich. Yeah. Yeah, this dude could have been an absolutely abysmal bootlicking groiper, but no matter who you are, getting an absolutely horrific back injury and being saddled with chronic pain and medical debt will make anyone develop class consciousness, even if he doesn't have class consciousness, which I don't think he has. I saw a tweet the other day that was like, Americans will celebrate the murder of a healthcare CEO and then turn around and call ICE when their Uber Eats driver is like 5 minutes late. Okay? Like, you don't have to be a card-carrying commie or anything like that. You don't have to be a socialist. You don't even have to have any sort of class consciousness whatsoever. You still do recognize that, like, healthcare, for-profit healthcare, even if you don't have the proper terms to communicate this anger and resentment, you still recognize who's you over in that situation because it's so deeply personal. And it's very obvious that he, like, still comes from, a relatively well-off family in Maryland, too. An immediate cousin that is a Republican politician. He does not actually follow Connor Eats Pants, by the way. That's a meme, chatter. What's wrong with you? You guys get duped by anything. Holy shit. Like... Anyway, Shooter was a big Andrew Huberman and Lex Friedman enjoyer. Yeah. Here is his rating on industrial society and its future. Now, if you know anything about Theodore John Kaczynski's formative work, you know that it is also indecipherable, with the exception of like a lot of fascist anti-communist sentiment jumping out of the paper. Okay? Just so you understand, it's not like Ted Kaczynski was a prolific writer. It's mostly the ramblings of a madman. A lot of people only hyper focus on the first couple of sentences and basically operate off of that and think that this guy had like brilliant thoughts. Ultimately, he was a rabid anti-communist, a CIA lab rat whose brain was fried, and I guess had some semblance of environmentalism. But here's how Luigi Mangione rated the book. He gave it 4 stars. Okay? Not exactly a great read overall. So the fact that he gave it a 4 stars, immediate red flag. Let's take a look. It says, clearly written by a mathematics prodigy. Okay, that could be a diss. Oh wait, this is not he didn't write this? Saying this book was clearly written by a mathematics prodigy is like saying this man has a face for radio. Okay? No, he's quoting someone. Reads like a series of lemmas on the question of 21st century quality of life. It's easy to quickly and thoughtless write this off as the manifesto of a lunatic in order to avoid facing some of the uncomfortable problems it identifies. But it's simply impossible to ignore how prescient many of his predictions about modern society turned out. He was a violent individual, rightfully imprisoned, who maimed innocent people. While these actions tend to be characterized as those of a crazy Luddite, however, they are more accurately seen as those of an extreme political revolutionary. A take I found online that I think is interesting. Had the balls to recognize that peaceful protest has gotten us absolutely nowhere, and at the end of the day, he's probably right. Oil barons haven't listened to any environmentalists, but they feared him. When all other forms of communication fail, violence is necessary to survive. One thing I will say about Luigi Mangione is that unlike Theodore John Kaczynski, he actually did target someone who was a vector of pain rather than random postgrads that got their shit blown off by his whimsical traps that he created, okay? Like, Ted Kaczynski was like, oh, I have this broad worldview, and what will I do to achieve my goals? I am going to blow the fingers off of Radio Shack employees. Like... Anyway. So, thank you for the 25 gifted. Bribo 2, 3, 6. Thank you for the 25 gifted. Okay. When all other forms of communication fail, violence is necessary to survive. You may not like his methods, but to see things from his perspective, it's not terrorism, it's war and revolution. Fossil fuel companies actively suppress anything that stands in their way, and within a generation or two, it will begin costing human lives by greater and greater magnitudes until the Earth is just a flaming ball orbiting third from the sun. Peaceful protest is outright ignored. Economic protest is impossible in the current system, so how long until we recognize that violence against those who lead us to such destruction is justified as self-defense? These companies don't care about you or your kids or your grandkids. They have zero qualms about burning down the planet for a buck, so why should we have any qualms about burning them down to survive? We're animals just like everything else on this planet, except we've forgotten the law of the jungle and bent over for our overlords when any other animal would recognize the threat and fight to the death for their survival. Violence never solved anything is a statement uttered by cowards and predators. So this is not his quote. This is a quote that he found interesting about industrial society and its future. And he did say some of these things in his own manifesto as well, talking about these parasites had it coming. Okay? But it had to be done. The law of the jungle quote is so tech bro sapiens reader coded. Yeah. I don't think that like anything. So glad I didn't hear Hasan is the reason why I got into socialism. Shout out from the guy. Yeah. I do not believe that he actually posted that timed YouTube video for the record. Okay? I don't think so. But hey, FYI, I'm getting an error message trying to share your stream on Facebook. Never had that happen before, and I share it all the time. I know a lot of people here don't use Facebook, so in case no one else has mentioned it, I thought that it was a little odd. Yeah, I'm also blacklisted from Instagram as well, so I don't know. It might be my my meta chickens coming home to roost because of all of the pro-Palestinian statements that I've made. Why are leftists abandoning Luigi because of his politics? He's a hero. No, I am not saying any of that. I'm simply stating that
It's a place in America.
I don't care about his personal politics at all. I do think it's interesting to try. I do think it's interesting to try and decipher and try to understand his point of radicalization. Okay. But overall, it doesn't matter. I think it's the more interesting story is like his broad reception, his broad positive reception from the American public. You know? So yeah. He definitely didn't post it. The profile pic is used the same in the media. It's a random photo from his Facebook. Definitely has something he would reuse as a profile pic. Yeah, I know. I do find it really funny, I will say, that he follows the Lindy tradition, whatever his name is. There's does anyone have that tweet? That famous Lindy tweet? If you're a young guy with no future prospects, go ahead, do something. And the Paul Scalas tweet, yeah, the Lindy man. That famous Paul Scalas tweet, considering that Luigi Mangione actually followed him. Where is it? Yeah, I can't believe I'm typing this, but there's a non-zero chance that the CEO shooter did it because of a Paul Scalas tweet. Person of interest in fatal shooting. Brian Thompson ID'd as Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione's bookshelf. Want to read. Life in the Lindy Effect by Paul Scalas. Here's the tweet. Look, if you don't have any kids and you're one of these guys just floating around the big cities, you got your education, but you never really used it to make money. You got a dead-end back office job. A future of just working somewhere until you're 75 and then dying. Go ahead and do something. And it seems that his high school yearbook quote was Donkey, video game Donkey. That's kind of cool. Yeah, another day, another play by Donkey. Oh my God. Mom and Dad, thanks for dealing with me the past 18 years. I cannot thank you enough for supporting me along the way. I'll admit, no matter how much. Oh, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Video game donkey. At it again, folks. Big drama. It's Drama Monday. My enemy Donkey once again rears his head. Oh no. Entered in 6th grade, aka Pepperoni, GI, Squeege, 30 degrees, involved in robotics, Model UN, of course, Uproar Studios, Writing Center, Senior Retreat, Community Service at Lorien Health. My Gilman experience was illuminating. Another day, another play. Mom and Dad, thanks for dealing with me the past 18 years. I cannot thank you enough for supporting me along the way. I'll admit, no matter how much I hated at the time, your sending me to Gilman was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Love you, Tommy. Thank you for showing me how to push my limits. I wouldn't be the person I am today without you. Baz says, I've enjoyed our many long talks and hope to continue them for years to come. Dan, these last 3 years from a presidential speech to your yearbook announcements to your daily assembly commentary, you turned a once unbearable assembly into the funniest part of the day. To the rest of my friends, you know who you are. These last few years have been simply amazing. Mr. Hastings says, thank you for always having faith in me, even when I didn't. I truly could not have asked for a better advisor. Special thanks, Dr. Salcedo, Dr. Kelly, Mr. Algren, Ludwig, Dr. Kraft, Dr. Mo, Dr. Fitzgibbon, Memories, MS Recess Soccer, Daddy Long, Flies, Thai Wars, CT, blah, 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 blah. Okay. No, I did not watch his YouTube, man. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's him. Why are people getting so... I don't understand how people are so quick to be duped and immediately want to believe that he like actually put forth a timed YouTube video that is going to announce, like, it could be him, but like, you do not have any information at this point. You do not have any information at this point that YouTube video is like real, okay? That it's actually him that timed a release for a YouTube page, especially because like the YouTube page PFP is just like him holding a McDonald's. We know that you know, his Twitter, we know his Goodreads, like those are confirmed. Okay? It's fake and the PFP changed? Yeah. This is fake. The account has since changed the profile picture. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be like a crypto announcement or something, dude. Bro, I feel so sad at this news. What are the chances the police got it wrong? There's always a chance that the police got it wrong. Anyway. Luigi Mangione had the deny defend to post slogan in his bio on his TikTok. His account has been deleted, presumably by TikTok. This is what happens when even STEM milquetoast valedictorians have no upwards mobility fresh out of college. Wait, Matt? No, this isn't him, dude.
Hey, Mumsy. How you doing? Jake, go back. Change. No green jacket, no hood. This is serious now. A lot of people have been DMing me, messaging me. You have to go back and change. This is not funny. Are you listening to me? This is not a funny situation. Please listen to me. Jake. Oh my God! What? What don't you understand? Oh my God! Let him live. Crime. You need to go home and change.
It's not him, but it's funny because he does look like him a lot.
The person that it was done to did a lot worse, okay? To the entire country. I'm not negating to the entire country. I agree with you. However, there are 2 jackets in the back. Put one of them on. Jake, I'm going to not go where you want to go. I'm not driving you. Put the jacket on in the back now. Take that jacket off. You know what? What do you have against hoods? The jacket off. What do you have against hoods? Jake? There's only one type of hood I don't like, and it's a white one. Jake? Otherwise, I am very into the hood. I love a hooded shaft, if you will. Jake?
I feel like that was really mean of Chad to call me milquetoast. I'm concernedly close to this demo. This community, that's like the majority of the community is very close to that demographic. That is how you arrived at most likely leftist politics. The f do you mean? Many of you are people that went to and got a decent college education and recognize how shit the job market is, and that you will never be able to retire. Anyway, here are some choice tweets from this man. This is why Jordan Peterson always bothers me. Overcomplicates everything he says aloud, wasting everyone's mental bandwidth and having to decipher it. The best teachers are the best communicators. Clear, succinct, simple language. I should have added some context with this clip. I wasn't trying to contradict you, but rather bolster your point. Tucker is spot on in recognizing that modern architecture kills the spirit, but his very first line, postmodern architecture is designed to demoralize and hurt you, paints the phenomenon as intentional. In the same way that inflation is not intelligently designed to oppress people, neither is modern architecture. It's emergent. Yes, it is oppressive, but that's a fallout of selective pressures to build fast, cheap, irrespective of aesthetics. My point here is that even when people have brilliant insights, they often blatantly get the causation wrong. Modern equivalent of this drought famine was caused by the rain gods. God damn, he's a yapper. Another TikTok.
Defund the police. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want meme TikToks right now. I want more info about him. If you guys have any more choice tweets from him that can help decipher his like political leanings or whatever, that would be helpful. Okay? Especially before they like ban his shit. Because they're already the obvious thing that many social media companies do in a situation like this is just like to yeet these accounts, so you can't get a better understanding of where this person is coming from or what their background is, because people are afraid of like copycats and stuff. You know, I would like to figure out I would like to figure out his background. So he founded a game dev club at UPenn, which UPenn apparently took down. Student club highlights interdisciplinary art of making video games. Undergraduate students Luigi Mangione and Josh Nadel led a group of 60 students who gather and collaborate weekly to develop video games at Huntsman Hall. As a high school student, Luigi Mangione's interest in video games didn't stop at playing them. He wanted to create them. Why does it matter what his political leanings were when he got radicalized? Is it really that useful? I'm more interested in what led to his radicalization, not shit he was liking when he was 12 years old. Wait, what are you talking about? That is my point. I think it creates a larger picture. There is definitely pure fascination. There is pure fascination as well. There is a bit of spectacle. Okay, but outside of that, it's I'm just trying to create a clearer picture. But yeah, his entire Goodreads list, and some of these I assume read, some of these he did not or wanted to read, right? Yeah. 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People. On immunity and inoculation. Should we eat meat? Evolution and its consequences. How to lie with statistics. Oh my God. That one is a classic. What if? Serious scientific answers to absurd hypotheticals. The greatest show on earth. The evidence for evolution. The magic and reality. How we know what's really true. Richard Dawkins. Like, he had a bunch of Charles Darwin, The Origin of Species. It seemed like on his want to read list, he had a litany of different, like, there was a Mein Kampf, Adolf Hitler, want to read. Oh God. Why the f would you put that on your Goodreads? That's crazy. His most centrist brain dead lived up take. Current era is a mass extinction event for normies. Tradition existed for the average person's psychic protection, and without it, they'll reliably go crazy. In 500 years, humanity will be a much more extreme species with the middle of the bell curve completely eradicated. Have you seen the movie Idiocracy? It predicts the opposite of what you suggest. The overall dumbing down of humanity with the entire bell curve shifting left due to reproductive dynamics. It's obviously satire, but I've always worried that that's the direction we're heading. Wait, what? Oh, he's talking about the bell curve shifting left. Here's one of his tweets from earlier this year. What are your thoughts on this quote from J. Krishnamurti? It is no measure of good health to be well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Yeah, I mean, it is one of my choice. Takes as well. Those who feel strong aversion to adjusting to a maladjusted society are normally deemed mentally ill. Alcoholics, substance abusers, or slackers. They're corralled into 12-step groups or mental hospitals, or placed on medication, or even when shunned. All in an attempt to make them conform and fit in, when what really needs to change is society itself. Just as gun legislation will not end the senseless mass shootings, because what we really need to do is stop generating psychopaths as a culture. I deduce he was a Jordan Peterson listener from his book list. No, he doesn't like Jordan Peterson. But yeah, he had his sister His sister posted this on IG stories praying for you. Which, you know, respect. Same, sis. I feel like this guy really Foucault. No, he did not. He is not. You guys, listen. I can't stress this enough, okay? This is a STEM guy whose introduction into like his introduction to the humanities is many of you in this community are very similar in profile to this person. Okay? A lot of you are comp sci and other like a variety of different STEM majors. Okay? But unlike him, yeah, most leftists don't like Foucault. We're not talking about Foucault anyway. Unlike him, many of you, instead of going the regular like Andrew Huberman, Lex Friedman, enlightened centrist, Jordan Peterson is a brilliant humanities professor route, or maybe you did actually go down that route at a certain point, came here because you realized like maybe these guys were not actually presenting reality in a way that is true. Maybe they were, not exactly well equipped. Okay. Tim Urban, the guy he wanted to be taught in school, is a huge anti-woke guy. Exactly. And it's ironic because Tim Urban has been crying about this guy killing a CEO nonstop. So many of you went on your own intellectual journey and then arrived here. Okay. Many of you went on your own intellectual journey, but it seems to me like he is more so like a possible r/atheism, Richard Dawkins appreciator, guy who thinks Sam Altman is brilliant. Sam Altman is OpenAI, for those of you who don't know. Guy who thinks Peter Thiel is brilliant. Like he retweeted Peter Thiel. Like this is a person who went on his own intellectual journey and, just like many who succumb to the unlimited amount of extreme centrist, maybe center-right content out there, he found himself in the whims of these kinds of content creators. None of that actually played a role in his actions, though. None of that played even a little bit of a formative role in the actions that he took. It seems to me like, regardless of his political ideology or the way he presented himself online, this was a very direct, you can present a very direct through line from what happened in his past and the actions that he took. Like here, he is responding to Tim Urban. My book, What's Our Problem, is now available. The book introduced a new framework for thinking about our chaotic political environment. This is from February 21st, 2023. He responded to this a year later. Do you think one day this could be taught in school curricula? What would that take? Now, I find this very interesting because Tim Urban is also consistently been chirping about how ridiculous and violent this action was. We live amongst a good number of people who are no different than those who ordered thousands of beheadings during the French Revolution. They just don't currently have the power to do what they want. Tim Urban here, quote retweeting Taylor Lorenz, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. That is the irony here, is that his actions, the irony here is that while he was directly like a Tim Urban head, right? Many of those people that he actually took notes from, the anti-woke people, like all these like Lex Friedman types, they by design play a formative role in shifting your attention away from the real vectors of pain in contemporary American society. They play a very big role in trying to deflect that attention away unconditionally every step of the way to make you say, no, 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 it is not the rich. It is not those who are at the head of these corporations that design society in a way where I am experiencing so many pressures in the wealthiest nation on earth. Pressures like, you know, healthcare, an industry that should not be for profit, and yet it is. It is actually your fellow man that is causing your suffering. You should be angry not at those who are in positions of power, but you should be not at, and you should not be angry at the systems that bind us, but instead you should be angry at those who are annoying, or those who advocate for their own, for their own existence, those who want civil liberties, those who want equality. You should be angry at those people who have no power, right? Get mad at undocumented immigrants, get mad at trans people, get mad at those who advocate for trans people and undocumented immigrants, not the CEOs, not the corporate oligopoly that exists. And yet, it is obvious that in spite of all of that, chaos and the deliberate attempts to shift your priorities away, to shift your attention away from those who actually cause harm, especially when it comes to an issue that touches every single American in a meaningful way, okay? People go, nah, I know what happened here. And that's precisely what's going on with the story of Luigi Mangione.